He stood outside my gate, his wife clutching his arm like a lifeline. Her voice cracked through the intercom first. "Open up, Riz, we're moving in!" The audacity almost made me laugh. 12 years of silence, 12 years of insults, and now those same lips that once called me trash dared to say, "We're moving in." I didn't respond. I just smiled, pressed a button, and the gates locked with a heavy metallic click. Then I poured myself a drink. It was time to speak. 12 years ago, my brother Hamza had punched me across the face in front of our mother. The room smelled of burnt tea and betrayal. His wife, Mira, had just called me a parasite. She said I'd never make it without them. He didn't defend me, he hit me. That punch wasn't just bone to skin. It was years of love, trust, and brotherhood shattering in a single strike. Then he told me to get out. Said I was dead to him. For a while, I believed him. I left with a torn lip, a bleeding nose, and a bag full of clothes. I slept in my car that night, parked by the ocean. The waves were angry, but they made sense. They crashed, broke, and rebuilt over and over. So did I. They cut me off completely. Family gatherings, inheritance, even our mother's funeral, I wasn't told. I found out days later through an old neighbor. That hurt more than the punch. But pain. Pain is an interesting teacher. It doesn't just wound its shapes. While Hamza and Mira flaunted their wealth online, vacations, designer suits, imported cars, I stayed silent. I worked. I studied finance at night, traded stocks in the morning, built connections in quiet corners where power whispered instead of shouted. By year 3, I was earning more than they ever imagined. By year 6, I owned the building his business rented space in. By year 9, his company was struggling. His partner, mine now, measure of that. By year 12, I was sitting in my oceanfront mansion reading the foreclosure notice for their house. And I bought it through a shell company, of course. 2 months later, I got a message, "Hamza here. Need to talk. Family should stick together." Family? That word finally made me laugh. I didn't respond. I waited then. Yesterday, they showed up at my gate. His hair thinner, her makeup heavier, their car old and tired. They looked like ghosts standing in the sunlight. "We're moving in," she said again when I stepped outside. Her voice was brittle. Hamza stared at the ground, hands in pockets like a scolded child. I tilted my head. "Moving in?" "Yes," she said quickly. "You have space. We're family. We've fallen on hard times." I studied her face. The same woman who once called me trash was standing in my driveway, eyes begging for shelter. "Family?" I said softly. "You cut me off, remember?" She flushed, looking away. "That was years ago, I nodded. "You're right. 12 to be exact." Hamza shifted uneasily. "Riz, come on, don't do this." We were young, stupid. It took a slow sip of my drink, letting the ocean wind fill the silence. "You hit me, Hamza." His jaw tightened. I said, "I'm sorry." "No, I said you said I was dead to you." He swallowed hard. I smiled. Now I said, stepping closer. "Tell me something. How does it feel to stand outside your brother's gate and ask for a place to stay in a house he built while living in yours?" His eyes widened. "What do you mean?" I leaned in. "You didn't read the fine print, did you? The company, the mortgage, the buyer listed as Blue Harbor Holdings." "That's me," Mira gasped. Her hand tightened around his arm. "You bought our house?" "I own it," I said quietly. "And the land under it. You have 30 days to vacate, or less, depending on how polite you are today." Hamza's face drained of color. Mira looked ready to scream, but she didn't. She just stood there trembling, her pride evaporating with the ocean breeze. I turned to leave. "Wait!" Hamza shouted. "We have nowhere else to go." I paused at the gate, my reflection ghosting over the metal bars. "That's not my problem anymore," I said. "But maybe it's karma. You called me dead aunts. Now you're standing at my gate asking the ghost for mercy." And then I locked the gate. Inside, the silence was soft, clean, the kind of silence that only comes after justice. I watched from the balcony as they argued in the driveway. Mira crying. Hamza pacing like a man trapped in his own mistakes. It didn't feel like victory. It felt like balance. He found out who took his place. Not just in success, but in peace. I didn't need to shout or hit or gloat. I just let the gates close, and for the first time in 12 years, I felt free.